Hello students, you're welcome to this part on the different types of database. Here we're looking at types of database. We've already looked at database in total. We've given an overview of a database. And here, this section, we want to look at the different types of databases that are created in IGCSE or for Cambridge or for your level. Now, the first one is called the flat file databases. The flat file database, like the one we've looked at in the previous section. The flat file that looks like the horizontal one. Okay, we have when the database is one that contains a single table. Okay, this type of flat file database we call a database that has a single table. A single table that has a lot of information in it is called a flat file database. Is that okay? The database work that you have to do for practical exams always uses the flat file database. Okay, the one you create for your exams, they're usually a flat file database. Okay, the second type of database is called the relational database. The relational database. A relational database is one that contains two or more tables of data connected by a link called a relationship. You know, this one in IGCSE, we also do this. You have one table, you link the table, two tables. You create two tables and you link them. That's called a relational database. A relational database. So a relational database is when you have two or more tables and these tables they link together. And that link is called relationship. It's called relationship. You link it to two or more tables together. Why would you want to have more than one data table? Why one database table? Why should we have more than one database table? Okay, now let's take a look at the student database. We have this student, we have the class, we have the tutor, and we have the rooms, right? The rooms for each student where they take their class in the school, and we have the tutor. Okay, so you can see the relationship here. We're looking at three key things in the database, not everything on the database. We're looking at their class, their teacher, and their room, right? You notice that the table contains several items of data that are repeated over and over again. Like you see class 5B, 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 5B repeated like almost 3 times. And then you can see the teachers are repeated. Mr. Logi, Mr. Nogi, Mr. Nogi. Okay, so you see it's repeated like 3 times. Only one field or one record is where we don't have same with the rest of the record, which is for student 634, who is in class 6Y, and the teacher is different, mistake, and the room number is 18. It's the only one that is different from the rest 3. So in fact, every student in class 5B will have this item of data, right? Will have this same item of data. Now, repeated data in a database is generally considered as a bad thing. Repeated data is usually considered as a bad thing. It wastes space in the database. It takes time to impute. Typing the same data over and over again, so it wastes a lot of times. And it might also result to mistake, might be made. And then it's pain to update. If the class 5B gets new tutor, you have to come back to update. We need to find every Mr. Login and change it to the new teacher's name every time. So how do we avoid this repetition or this repeated data multiple number of times? So to do that, we create multiple tables. To solve that problem, we create multiple tables and we relate them. We use relationship. We link them. We use relationship called the links to link this different table. Now the solution is to split the table. So to solve this kind of problem we say we've itemized or we highlighted, to solve this is to create multiple tables in a database. The solution is to split the table or to split the data. Now the repeated data is removed from the main table and is placed in another table, right? Placed in a table of its own so that the information will not be repeating itself. The information will not be repeating itself. If you take a look at this, you've seen that all those repeated information have been created in a different table, has been taken out. All those repeated information, what we have here, they're no longer repeated information. So this becomes table 1 or table A or student table. So you split the student table from the class table. you split the student table from the class table, but you can link them with relationship. Okay, such type of database where you have splitted things that are repeating themselves, like the teacher's name always repeating themselves for class 5, is called a relational database. A single database that contains all the information, but there are information that keep repeating themselves, like the tutor repeating themselves, and like the class repeating themselves. These tutor and class and rooms have been used to create another table in that type of and separated from the main database. That type of database wherein repeating information has been taken out from the main table to create another table and be related with links is called relational database. It's called relational database. It's called relational database. So now the main student table just contains the data directly related to students. Okay, no repetition, because the teacher's name will be repeated for the students, and the rooms will be repeated for students who are in the same class, and the class will be repeated for students who are actually in the same class. While the new class table contains the data directly related to the class, only the data. So for 5B, we just write only 5B, the teacher's name and the room. For 6, we write the teacher's name and the room. So you see there's no repetition. And then we link them together with a link or a relationship. This type of database that has splitted repeating information and being used to create another table and being linked to the primary table is called relational database, called the relational database. So we say, so now the main student table just contains only the data directly related to the students, while the new table, the class table, contains data directly related to the classes. So you know that both tables, they are independent. Each of them is independent, and each one has its own key field or the primary key. Each one has its own key field or the primary key. For this one, the key field is the ID number. For this one, the key field is the class. The key field, because the class are different now. Okay, the key field here or the primary key is the class for this second table or this second database. For the first database, the key field is the ID number. So linking them is the relationship. When you link them, you create a relationship between them. When you link them. So normally in a relational database, we link the two tables together. We link the two tables together. We need to link the tables together so that we can connect a student to a specific tutor and to a specific classroom, to a specific class number. Okay? The common field in both tables is the class field. The common one is the class field. Okay, class 5B, you see class 5B with the teacher name, with the same room, because they're same, will be linked to all these 5B, will be linked. We bring the class here, right? We link it to this class. The class field, 5B, we will link it here, and link it here, okay? We link them together. That link is the relationship, because the common field is the class field. What is common to the students and this table, what is common between this table and this table is the class. So we link them together. We must create that scenario wherein we can link what is in this table to this table. That relationship is what makes it relational, okay? It's what makes it a relational database. It's called the link. It's called the link between the two tables, okay? Know that to create a relationship, we are using the key field, the primary key only. We are using the key field, the primary key, which is this class. We are using the key field, okay, from one table to link to another table. Now the key field from this table is the class. We are using the class to link to this table A, or the student table. Now when a key field from one table appears in a different table, e.g. the class field in the student table, we call this a foreign key. When the key field from one table appears in different table, e.g. like the class field in the student table, you can see the class field in the student table. This one is appearing in more than one place. So we call this the foreign key. It's called the foreign key. So the foreign key in this regard is this one. Because this class is appearing more than one place in this one. from this table, the class 5B is appearing here in more than one place. So we call it the foreign key. So student table can be linked with the class table by relating 5B to all the 5B here. And in so doing, we are able to create the different field. We are able to create what we call the foreign key. This 5B that links to all the 5B here is called the foreign key. Okay? We already know what is primary key or the primary key, and now we understand what we call the foreign key. The foreign key is when a specific primary key is found also in the other table. It's also found in the other table. So that is called the foreign key. So with this, I think we like I said, this one is going to be a short one. So we stop here, and then the next case we're going to look at the analog and the digital data. We're going to look at the analog signal and the digital signal or the digital data.